A Thunderstorm in Town, a Reminiscence by Thomas Hardy, 1840 to 1928. She wore a terra-cotta dress, and we stayed because of the pelting rain within the hansom's dry recess. Though the horse had stopped, yea, motionless, we sat on, snug and warm. Then the downpour ceased to my sharp sad pain, and the glass that had screened our forms before flew up, and out she sprang to her door. I should have kissed her if the rain had lasted a minute more. Okay, this is a poem by Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy is an English poet from Dorset. He's more famous for his novels, but he is a great poet as well. Now, this poem is quite interesting. It's about being in a hansom cab, in a carriage, in a horse-drawn carriage, with a woman who he's clearly in love with, and there's this thunderstorm, and there's this very intense moment, this moment of emotional closeness, where there's torrential rain outside, and they're both sitting there in this carriage, and they're incredibly close, and it's almost as if this scene has broken down any barriers that there were between them. And then the rain stops, and she gets up, and the emotional barrier comes down again, or the separation comes down, and he realizes that this would have been a perfect moment to kiss her, but it's too late, and she's out of the carriage and gone to her house. So there's almost an irony. There's this moment where they're incredibly close together, and it would have been the perfect moment to kiss her, but he doesn't kiss her because he doesn't realize until afterwards. Now, another thing that's interesting is clearly this is not his wife. Let's see, he was married in 1874, so this is like 20 years after they got married. A Reminiscence, 1893, so just a little note that went with the poem. And clearly, the marriage between himself and his wife, Emma Gifford, did not go well, and they were estranged. They lived apart for many years. And I think this is another woman who I think he is in love with her. He would really like to have a relationship or an affair with her, but he doesn't take this opportunity. It's as if they've been on a date to a concert or the theatre or something, and they've come home, and it's pouring with rain, and the horse has stopped, and there's this just intense close moment. And he's remembering back. I think this poem was published in 1913. So I think he's remembering back 20 years of being with this woman. She wore a terracotta dress. So the first thing he remembers is the colour of her dress. This terracotta is this brown clay colour, this light brown, reddish brown clay. And we stayed because of the pelting storm, and there was this storm, and the rain was pelting down within the hansom's dry recess. So the hansom is a hansom cab, it's a horse-drawn carriage. It's like a Victorian taxi, and they're in the box of this cab, and everything is dry, but the world is all rain outside. Though the horse had stopped, so they've arrived at their destination. They've stopped, but they haven't. Nobody's moved. Yea, motionless, we sat on, snug and warm. So they didn't move. Everything was still. There's this moment of stillness. The horse isn't click clop. they've arrived, and they're sitting there without moving, and they're warm and close, and there's this emotional connection between them. Then the downpour ceased, and here's the volta, it changes, and then so there's this intensely close moment, and then the rain stops and it's gone. Then the downpour ceased, to my sharp sad pain, and that made me sad, and the glass that had screened our forms before flew up. Now this line I interpret as a piece of glass between them. But this isn't a physical piece of glass. This is an emotional one, or a situational one, that in the carriage they were so close together, and then the social separation, the piece of glass that kept them apart, that kept them from being close, came up again. It's as if this piece of glass had gone down because of the rain, and they were there snug and warm and close. And then the rain stops, and suddenly up comes this separation. And she sprang to her door. She sprang out of the cab. She moved suddenly and went to her door. And I think that the cab is probably going to her house. And she went to her door, and she disappeared, and she's gone. So maybe the social forms that when they were in charge in those days, they come back. I should have kissed her if the rain had lasted a minute more. So if the rain had lasted any longer, I would have kissed her. And he's regretting that the rain didn't last longer, that he didn't kiss her. So, A Dalliance by Thomas Hardy. A Thunderstorm in Town by Thomas Hardy.